Hey guys, how you going? I don't know, this is so stupid. You should really think about what to say. Hey. Hey guys. That was really weird. Okay. Hey guys, how you going? It's been a while. It's been a really long time. I don't know, this year I've been doing like a lot of reflecting of like where I'm at and where I wanted to be a few years ago, and kind of just came to a self-realization that like I had dreams that I forgot about. Like I always wanted to get into the internet world. I wanted to become like a personality, work for myself, kind of entrepreneurship. And I tried, I started, it wasn't going success straight away, and so I gave up. And I've been doing like a lot of reflecting, a lot of doing nothing, like everyone at the moment. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get back into it. Like, what's the harm? If I get views, I get views. If I don't, I don't. So, welcome back to my weekly videos, I guess. This is happening. So yeah, let's begin this video. I was looking back at my life really far back to when I was 21, and it made me really miss traveling. Like, I feel like everyone's in the same boat. And it kind of like, I was just thinking back on my experience when I flew to Japan, and it's a pretty cool story, so I thought I might just share it with you guys. So I just turned 21, I had a bit of money, and I was like, what am I going to do? Let's start a new chapter in my life. And I just randomly bought a ticket to Japan, Tokyo. And yeah, it was really, really spontaneous. I literally don't speak the language. I don't know much about Japan. Like, I know that there's a mountain. People are all kawaii and cute. It's very like, I don't know, modern, futuristic, exciting. So I was like, you know what? I'm going here. So I woke up late, rushed to the airport, missed my connecting flight to the Gold Coast. I had to buy another plane ticket, explain to the staff what was happening. They were like, we'll let them know to like wait for you. I flew to the Gold Coast, and there was like literally like 10 minutes till my flight took off or something. I don't know, maybe more. And so I was like running through the airport like a scene out of Home Alone, like Run Run Rudolph. And then I get to the terminal, and they're like, no one's told us that, you know, you're running late. And I was like, ah. So they like literally just let me on the plane, so it was so lucky. So yeah, it was pretty surreal just like getting off the plane and making my way through a culture that I literally had no knowledge of. So you can imagine how intense that was. And then, so yeah, I get there. It was a pretty longish flight. It was nighttime when I arrived, and I kind of just stayed at some random hostel where I met this Australian girl who was at the end of her trip. So she'd told me everything that she had done. She gave me ideas, which was amazing because I literally was just in the city with absolutely no idea about Japan. We were walking through the streets. It was like raining. We had umbrellas. The streets in Tokyo are just incredible, especially in the rain. I just remember feeling like I was in a dream. She showed me this like sacred temple that was right near the hostel, and she's like, you should come here tomorrow. It's really amazing. So yeah, we went back to the hotel room. She gave me all of her charging ports, because they're not the same as the Australian ones. I did not know that. And yeah, she, without her like giving me all of her supplies before she left, I think I would have been pretty stuck. Yeah, so then she flew home that morning. I went to the temple, and it was this like really sacred religious temple, and I didn't really know much about it, but there's like this kind of air, like it's like a steam pot, and you're supposed to like kind of cleanse yourself by putting some of the steam on your face before you walk into the temple. And I didn't know that. I just kind of watched people doing it and just being like, oh, okay, cute. And so I started walking up the stairs to go inside the temple, and there was like these Japanese people being like, no, like waving at me, like, and I thought like, oh, I'm just a tourist, I'm like a celebrity, like, and I'm like waving back, and they're like saying like, no, no, no. And then I get to the top, and then like one of the main temple people were like, oh, they're telling you to go down and put some, you know, cleanse yourself before you come in. And I was like, oh my god, it was so embarrassing, because I was literally just like walking up there being like, after that embarrassment, I kind of just had like the most amazing day. Went to an arcade, ate some amazing backstreet sushi, and like after having Japanese sushi, like sushi in Australia is just like honestly nothing. It's like eating rice. You know what I mean? Like plain rice compared to like fried. Every time I kind of just like stood around looking lost, someone kind of realized that I needed help and came up to me like, do you need help? So I was like really lucky in that sense. I did not speak any Japanese at all, except for like konnichiwa. So I went back to my hostel and I made a few phone calls and I booked in a travel group to climb Mount Fuji because why not? So I went to bed, set an alarm, slept through it. Like I literally woke up with like 10 missed calls, and so I called them and were like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, did I miss this? And they're like, yeah, we tried calling you so many times. I was like, oh sorry, I'm asleep. And then they were like, if you can get here to Mount Fuji, you can still make the climb. So I like catch a taxi to a bus stop, catch a bus all the way to Mount Fuji. And it was at this point that I realised Mount Fuji is like one of the most coldest places in the world to be. I've seen all these people with like hiking sticks and like head to toe like Eskimo outfits, and I was just wearing like literally shorts and a t-shirt, and I had a little carry bag thinking it was just like, I don't know, a normal mountain. So yeah, the lady was like, you probably can't come. You'll literally freeze to death. And I was like, oh my god. So anyways, so then I'm like researching what to do in the meantime, because yeah, I literally can't get out of here now. There's no more buses. And I found this forest that was at the bottom of the mountain. And I was like, may as well go check it out. Love a hike. So I make my way to the bus stop, and there's this lady, and I asked her, you know, which bus I need to catch to get to this location. And she's asking me, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, okay. She explained to me where it was, and I caught the bus to this forest. I didn't realise that this forest was literally like, it like has a huge historical past of being like known as suicide forest. It's called like Aokigahara or something. But for centuries people have been going there to literally commit suicide. It's pretty sad. I literally had no knowledge of where I was going. So I get on the bus, it's like the sun's setting, and it became literally pitch dark out of nowhere. And I get off at the bus stop. The bus driver's looking at me like I'm insane. Like literally the bus stop is like, you get off the bus and there's like, this is the forest, this is the bus stop, and like the forest is like so high and so long, and like there's no lights anywhere. Across the road is an abandoned petrol station. So I get off the bus and I'm hearing all of these like crickets and like all of these like insects, and like it sounds like snakes in there, and I'm like, there's no way I'm stepping foot in here. I don't even have a torch. Like it's literally like black. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So basically I had an hour and a half until the bus arrived to take me back to where I started in the middle of the dark. It was just literally like this long road, and I was just like all alone in the dark. And so I started doing some like meditating. I kind of did like a weird like prayer. I don't know, I was really spiritual back then. And then I heard this like growl in the forest, and it wasn't like a human growl. It was like literally like evil. It was like demonic. I don't know. It was like, I'm thinking back and I'm like, was it in my head? But it was like that. Like it was like, I don't know, like a monster. And so of course I'm like freaking out. I like jump up, I run like across the road to the abandoned petrol station. I'm like trying to find like a payphone, because like I didn't even know the emergency service number in Japan. But like I literally was like freaking out. You could imagine just like not knowing what you heard. It's pitch black, no one's around, and I was just, there was like flickering light. It was like literally a horror movie scene. Like every time I'd get closer to the bus stop, because I would just try to get back, I'd like hear noises again and run to the other side. Cars were coming, like very few, and I was like trying to wave them down, and like they were like going around me and just didn't want any part of me. Oh my god, I was so scared. Like I was literally like, I've never been that scared in my life. So the bus finally comes, and it's the same bus driver. So he's literally just driven all the way down that road, and I was the only one on the bus, and he's come all the way back, and he's just looking at me like, are you alright? And then I get on the bus, get back to I don't even know what the town was called, but I ended up finding a hotel and just going to bed, and I was like literally up all night, like contemplating that sound that I heard in the bush. So the next morning I did some research, and then so my idea of like that was a demon was like completely stamped. I was like, oh my god, there's a demon with me. And so like for me to feel better, I was like, I have to go back there and like face it. So I catch the bus there in the morning, and it was dead quiet. It was like I heard all of these insects and like rattling sounds and like all these like creatures, and it was like so loud. It was like, oh, it was like on a speaker. That's how many like insects or animals there would have been. But it was literally dead quiet. I was walking through this forest, and I was like, where are all these insects? Like, where do they go in the day? It was so scary. Anyway, so there was this rope, and I was following it all the way through, because like the forest is like really easy to get lost. Like if I wasn't following the rope and I was just walking in, there would be a chance that I would have got lost in there, like honestly. And I actually found out later that people do that so that they can walk in, and if they change their mind about wanting to kill themselves, they can easily walk back out. Hello. So last night I thought it would be a great idea to come to the Sea of Trees, which is one of the most haunted forests in the world. So I decided to walk in, went to the front entrance, and I'm not kidding, like there was the sound of bugs and snakes and like hissings and creatures, and I was so scared, and I don't scare easily. I didn't even walk in. I couldn't even get the courage to walk in at night time. And so I decided to come back today because I really wanted to experience it, and it is so quiet. It is so weird because I'm not kidding you right now. I'm not kidding. Like, I went to the same forest last night and it was so loud. Like, there was bugs and everything. It was just like so loud. You know, legend has it, the people who kill themselves here, they haunt this forest, and I'm open to the idea. And last night, I'm not kidding, I was so scared. Like, you just felt this presence. And, you know, it's been well reviewed and reported that it does have like a paranormal feeling, and I can back that. You know, I've been to a few haunted places and didn't scare me, to be honest, but this one did. I felt something. But anyway, a bit of history. Back in the day, I don't know if I just said this, but back in the day, people in Japanese families would sacrifice themselves so that their family could afford to eat, and they would walk in and never walk out. And when you get into the heart of this forest, you will not get out, and you will die a slow death of starvation, or if you choose to hang yourself, however you wish. But it is very, you know, it's a very well-known place to kill yourself. Anyway, it's been real. Oh, it's so surreal to think that like that rope could have been someone's like last moments. Oh my god. What was I doing there, honestly? Anyway, so my mind's clear. I'm like, okay, I don't know, face my demons. I still think I'm possessed, but let's go on with my trip. So at this point, I decide to go to like the main capital of Tokyo, and I'm staying in like the big city, like that famous crosswalk. I'm living my kind of like futuristic life dream, and I'm just having the best time, just eating at restaurants and doing a lot of shopping. And I decided to go out that night. And I don't know why, I was like, I'm in like Japan, I'm gonna do something extravagant. So I ended up buying like all this drag, and I just did my makeup and hair, put on an outfit, and just went out to like the gay clubs. I don't know, I think it's called Shinjuku or something. It's like the gay capital of like Japan. And so like everyone was living for me. It was like an amazing night. It was a lot of drinking. And then by the end of the night I was wrecked, like literally like stumbling out of the club. And then it came to a point where I literally felt sick, and I like tripped. And I was like, ugh, and I started vomiting everywhere in the gutter. It got so bad that I had to rip my wig off, hold it back, and just vomit. And just hope for the best. Somehow, I don't know how, I remember like someone helping me up, and he like helped me back to my hotel room, and I just crashed. And I woke up when I woke up, and I was like, I was so hungover, like, oh my god. I was like, it was the last full day in Japan, and I was like, what now? So I decided to catch the bullet train. The bullet train is like one of the fastest trains in the world. I really wanted to experience the full experience, like enjoy the landscape, just kind of like eat nice food and like, you know, touristy things. But I was so hungover that the whole time. I used my like airplane pillow and just like slept, so I literally didn't even get to really experience it. But I was on the bullet train, so yeah. Oh, I also forgot. So as I was waiting for the bullet train, I'm at a vending machine, and I'm looking at all the bottles, and like they start shaking, and I'm like, I start freaking out literally. Like I'm like, oh my god, it's an earthquake. And I'm like literally like looking around, everyone's just chilling, they're just like literally on their phones, just like reading books, reading magazines, and I'm just like trying to like not freak out. And then like some people looking at me like, what is this person doing? So yeah, I actually experienced a mini earthquake, which is pretty cool, but like at the time I was freaking out. Apparently they happen all the time in Japan, I didn't know that. So it's just like normal day life for them. So anyway, it's my last day in Japan. I get off at Osaka, and I don't know, I was so hungover that I just wanted to relax. So like I booked the Hilton, and just ordered room service, went swimming. I used that time to unwind, let's just say that. And yeah, it was amazing. Like I kind of went exploring. I looked through the city. It was actually like really beautiful, like architecturally, like it was super, super modern. It wasn't as like futuristic crazy as like Tokyo, but it was like an architect's dream. Like I loved it. Yeah, so I ended up going to sleep quite early, waking up, making my flight, and yeah, got back to Sydney and was like, what the hell was that? I miss traveling. So yeah, that was my trip to Japan. It was so long ago. I'm sure more happened, but I can't really think of it right now. But yeah, it was a surreal experience. I definitely recommend traveling solo. Maybe have a little bit more preparation than I did, because you'd have a little bit more of a successful experience, or don't. Either way, I still had fun. It was my personal experience. I loved it. I still want to climb Mount Fuji, but until next time, Japan. Thanks for watching this far. If you made it, hit like, subscribe, and there's like a little bell thing if you want to be notified when I release a video. I'm going to be trying to post every week. So yeah, that's my first YouTube video in a long time. I don't know, what am I doing? Alright, I'll speak to you later. Bye.